This video is brought to you by Rose Forever. Rose Forever is a New York-based brand launched in 2019, and they design these luxurious rose boxes that will last for a year just as if they were freshly picked. They use a natural oil to preserve the roses, and all of their bouquets are handcrafted by professional flower artisans. All the materials used to cover the boxes are vegan. I picked this lovely black velvet with red roses. They come in so many different combinations and colors and all those wonderful things. These special colors like violet, black, or royal blue are created through a natural process of pigmentation, and they're allergen free. If you can't tell, I lost the audio to this clip, but I do want to let you know that Rose Forever is offering my subscribers a thank you coupon code. Enter code Geographica25 for $25 off your order at checkout, site-wide, no conditions. But that coupon is only valid for the next 30 days as of this video going up. So be sure to check that out now. In a minute, I'll point down to the description box where you can find the link to the Rose Forever shop. And these roses are just so pretty. I can't get enough of them. I've been staring at them for quite a while. And there's definitely something for everyone on the website. There's all sorts of different combinations. There's the description box. Check out the link down there. And they're inspired by Parisian chic style. It's just so lovely. It works for everyone. Thank you again to Rose Forever. Good evening and welcome. Tonight we're going to take a look on my tablet at National Flowers by Country. It says you may know that different states have their own flower, but did you know that many countries also have a designated national flower? There's all the details here along with pictures and a brief description. So let's find out. Do you know the national flower of your country? Because I didn't know mine until I read this, and I was very surprised. So let's dive in. Starting off in Argentina, we have the ceibo, which is this beautiful flowering tree. It says the ceibo became the national flower of Argentina in December of 1942. It's also the official city tree of Los Angeles, California. Isn't that interesting? Oh, I should also note that this isn't going to be every country. There's some countries that don't even have their own national flower, but Australia does. It's the golden wattle. Look at these. What an interesting little plume, and it's so yellow. Little poofs. The golden wattle is the national flower of Australia. The golden wattle flower head is made of a bunch of tiny flowers in large, fluffy yellow bundles. Since 1992, September 1st is declared as National Wattle Day. Fun. In Austria, of course, if you've seen The Sound of Music, you already know that it's Edelweiss. Sweet white flowers. Edelweiss is one of the best known European mountain flowers and belongs in the sunflower family. This flower is a symbol not only in Austria but Germany and Switzerland as well. In the Bahamas we have the yellow elder. Let's see what it says. The yellow elder is the national flower of the Bahamas and is native to the islands. 4 New Providence's garden clubs chose this flower in the 1970s. They were the YWCA Garden Club, the Nassau Garden Club, the Carver Club, and the International Garden Club. They chose this because many other flowers that grew there were chosen as national flowers in other countries. They wanted to be unique. In the Balearic Islands, we have the carnation. So pretty. I like this color with the white on the outside. The national flower of the Balearic Islands is the carnation. It's also the national flower of New Zealand, Slovenia, Spain, and Monaco. Oh, interesting. In Bangladesh, of course, we have the beautiful water lily. So gorgeous. It's so delicate and pretty. The national flower of Bangladesh is the white water lily. Bangladeshi people believe that the white water lily purifies their souls and unites them all like a water lily's petals. In Barbados, there's the Pride of Barbados. Look at this. Looks like a little dragon, doesn't it? Wow. It's very, very out there, I think. The national flower of Barbados is the Pride of Barbados, also known as the dwarf poinciana, or flower fence. This flower also appears on the Barbados coat of arms. In Belarus, it's just plain old flax, which is very Belarusian of them to just pick like a traditional, almost like a grain, isn't it? The national flower of Belarus is flax. Flax is grown all over the world, but was first grown in countries near Belarus. Well, that makes sense why they picked it, doesn't it? In Belgium, of course, it's the red poppy. The national flower of Belgium is the common red poppy. The red poppy is considered one of the easiest wildflowers to grow. These flowers are bright and cheerful, just like many of the Belgian natives they represent. How lovely. In Belize, we have the black orchid. Look at this thing. It looks like an outer space alien, doesn't it? With like tentacles and a weird little head there, but it's an orchid. Orchids are so bizarre looking. The national flower of Belize is the black orchid. The black orchid has yellow, greenish petals and sepals with purple blotches and is in the shape of a clamshell. That's one way to put it, I think. In Bermuda, we have blue-eyed grass, which that is such a sweet little flower, isn't it? That's very, very charming. In Bermuda, the blue-eyed grass is the national flower. This plant's also native to Ireland, and both countries claim this beautiful plant. It is very sweet. In Bhutan, we have the blue poppy. Look at that color. That is so lovely. The national flower of Bhutan is the Himalayan blue poppy. This flower was first discovered in 1933 in a remote part of Sakteng in eastern Bhutan. The blue poppy is traditionally linked to the Yeti of lore. I wonder how. The Yeti really like this flower too. It's pretty cool. In Bohemia, which is mostly part of the Czech Republic today, is thyme. Just good old thyme. The national flower of Bohemia is thyme. Thyme has a long history and was used by ancient Egyptians for embalming. Ancient Greeks also used thyme in their baths and burnt it as incense in temples and believed it was a source of courage. In Bolivia, we have the cantuta. Oh my, look at these. Perfect for little hummingbirds, right? Very cool flowers. Cantuta is the national flower of Bolivia. Bolivia also has a second official national flower named the patuju. How fun. Those are nice to say. In Brasilia, we have the Cattleya orchid. Look at oh, that's a beautiful orchid. What amazing colors there are. The bright yellow with the bright pinkish reddish color. That's so nice. Cattleya orchid, also known as Cattleya labiata, is the national flower of Brazil. Brazil's the single largest flower cultivating country in the world. You don't think it would be the Netherlands, but apparently it's Brazil. Which makes sense. Brazil is gigantic, right? John Lindley named the Cattleya labiata after William Catley in 1824. In British Columbia, which is in Canada, we have the dogwood tree flower. That's very sweet. It's like a little springtime. It kind of reminds me of like a bridal kind of thing. The national flower of British Columbia is a tree. Adopted in 1956, the national flower is the Pacific dogwood tree. This tree only grows in the southwest corner of BC. How neat. In Bulgaria, of course, we have the rose, which, if you see my video on Bulgarian history, you'll know why. They love their roses. Bulgaria's national flower is the rose, which is commonly referred to as the Queen of Flowers. It is a common practice when someone visits you in Bulgaria, you gift them with a rose, as it is a symbol of friendship. Yeah, they have been growing roses in the valley in central Bulgaria for, gosh, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. In Canada, we have the maple leaf, which is not a flower, but is an iconic part of Canada. Canada doesn't have an official flower, that's why, but the closest thing they would have would be the maple leaf. The maple leaf was incorporated into the National Coat of Arms in 1922 and appeared on national flags around 1907. In 1965, it became the center of the Canadian flag. In the Cayman Islands, the Caribbean, we have the wild banana orchid. You can see why it's called that. It is absolutely a bright banana color with sweet little purple centers. The national flower of the Cayman Islands is the wild banana orchid. This flower has 2 varieties out of the island's approximately 26 varieties of orchids. That's a lot of orchids. In Chile, they have the copihue, or the Chilean bellflower. That's really pretty. Looks like a little dress skirt. That's nice. And a beautiful color, too. Copihue, or Chilean bellflower, also known as Lapidaria rosea, is the national flower of Chile. This flower grows in the southern part of Chile. I wonder if that's like Patagonia, right? In China, we have the plum blossom. That is so pink, right? Oh my. You think cherry blossoms are so pink? Plum blossoms are dazzling. The plum blossom became the official national flower of the Republic of China by the Executive Yuan in July of 1964. This flower symbolizes resilience and perseverance in the face of adversity, due to it often blooming vibrantly in the harsh winter snow. That must look incredible. These flowers can bloom for a long time. In fact, in Hubei, there's a 1600-year-old plum tree that still flowers. Imagine this in a snowy landscape. Oh, that must be stunning. In Colombia, they have Catellia trianae. Another really pretty orchid. How neat. It looks like a little stain right there, isn't it? Like it got dipped in wine. Catellia trianae is the national flower of Colombia. It was named after Colombian naturalist Jose Geronimo Triana. It was chosen as the national flower by a botanist named Emilio Robledo, who described it as the most beautiful flower in the world. It is very lovely. In Costa Rica, we have the Garria morada. Oh, how pretty. Oh, it's so sweet. It's gorgeous. Garria morada became the national flower of Costa Rica in June of 1939. This exotic orchid is known for its purple color and diamond-like shimmer. Ooh, and it shimmers. How incredible. In Croatia, we have the Iris choroitica, which that's really funny for me personally. My great-grandmother, who lived in Arkansas, bred flowers that look just like this, these kind of big old iris flowers. And she smuggled them to California when she moved here. Don't tell anyone that she committed smuggling crimes in the 1960s, okay? It's between you and me. Anyway, the Iris choroitica is the national flower of Croatia. It is a bearded rhizomatous species of the iris flower. Like almost the color of my great-grandmother's flower she would breed. That's so neat. Anyway, in Cuba we have Hedychium coronarium. Let's see. Oh, wow. Oh, I like that shape. It's so distinct. Oh, that's so lovely. Hedychium coronarium, also referred to as the white ginger or mariposa, is Cuba's national flower. Flowers are white with a beautiful scent and can include a yellow and salmon pink color. They're commonly sold in streets, used in bridal bouquets, and offered to saints and the deceased. I was just thinking that would be really pretty in a bouquet, wouldn't it? And I think that's supposed to be cypress. We have the cyclamen. Oh wow! Oh! Look at Look, the stems go down and then the flower blooms up. Can you see? It goes down and then the flowers come up in the sunlight. Oh, how interesting. It is cypress. The national flower of Cyprus is the cyclamen. This flower will grow naturally in countries like Cyprus, Greece, Turkey, Palestine, Syria, and more. That little corner of the world. It belongs to the Primulaceae family. Hope I'm pronouncing everything right. If not, I apologize. If you actually know how to pronounce a word that I've mispronounced, just leave it in the comments. In the Czech Republic, we have the rose. It's a pretty one. The rose is the national flower of the Czech Republic and is found all over the country. The rose was first seen in the Czech Republic 35 million years ago. Wow, they've been there forever, haven't they? In Denmark, we have the Marguerite daisy, which, that's a classic daisy. What a gorgeous photo. Oh, what a sweet little flower. The Marguerite daisy is the national flower of Denmark. These flowers produce large daisy-like flowers. The red clover and English holly are also flower emblems to Denmark. In Ecuador, we also have the rose. It's a lovely picture. The national flower of Ecuador is the rose. It is the unofficial national flower, also known as Chequirahua. The rose is also known to symbolize love and beauty. In Egypt, of course, we have the Egyptian lotus. There's nothing more Egyptian than that. Well, okay, I'm sure there's many other Egyptian things, but one of the things I picture when I think of Egypt is the lotus flowers in the Nile. Ancient Egypt may have been one of the first countries to recognize national plants as well as flowers. The Egyptian lotus flower is the only plant to both flower and fruit at the same time, and it's Egypt's national flower. In Estonia, we have cornflower blue. That's a lovely, oh my goodness, it's like purpley, bluey. Oh, that's a beautiful, beautiful flower. The national flower of Estonia is the blue cornflower. And I think it's supposed to be 1967, 68, the Estonian Wildlife Protection Society held a televised campaign for people to choose the national flower. The ornamental blue cornflower was chosen as the favorite. I don't think, well, there wasn't really even an Estonia in 1067, so I don't think they had a Wildlife Protection Society. Pretty sure that's meant to say 1967. Oh, I love calla lilies. Ethiopia has the calla lily. So where I live in America, calla lilies are usually used at funerals, which bums me out because I think they're gorgeous. I used to have, I love my preserved flowers. I would keep fake calla lilies around one of the places I used to live because I just thought they were gorgeous. And I would never keep real flowers. I'd always keep preserved or faked or potted plants. So I loved having calla lilies around, even though they're like associated with death. The national flower of Ethiopia is the calla lily. It was chosen because of its abundance, color, and uses. Natives also consider it a sign of peace. See, I like that so much more than being like a flower for funerals. It's a really beautiful flower, in my opinion. In France, we have the iris. So pretty. Pretty white one. I've never seen a fully white iris. The national flower of France is the iris. Oh, it's also represented in the fleur-de-lis emblem, which is the symbol of the French monarchy. Look at that. It's never occurred to me that the fleur-de-lis is based on an actual flower. Look at it. It looks just like a fleur-de-lis. That's so interesting. These flowers symbolize faith, wisdom, peace of mind, hope, and friendship. In French Polynesia, we have the tiare. What a beautiful little tropical flower. It's like the kind you would have in your hair. Speaking of like the fake flowers, I would keep some little hair clips to put in my hair back when I had long hair. The national flower of French Polynesia is the tiare. It is a symbol, a staple in Tahitian culture, and the name tiare comes from the word tiara. How appropriate, I would used to wear them in my hair. Suggesting the flower is the queen of all flowers in French Polynesia. However, in Tahitian, it means a strong presence, and it means perfume or fragrance. So it's a literal translation, means a strong fragrance. So in Finland, we have the lily of the valley. Another little sweet, pretty, pretty, pretty flower. The lily of the valley was chosen as the national flower of Finland due to its attractive and sweet-scented flowers. They're often represented in Finnish poetry and songs. In Germany, we have the cornflower, which you already saw, so pretty and blue and vibrant. The cornflower is the national flower of Germany. It became symbolic to Germany during the 19th century due to its color being Prussian blue. It is Prussian blue. Oh, that's so funny. How interesting. It was customary for the unwed to wear the flower in the buttonholes to show their marital status during this time. How nice. In Greece, we have bear's breech, which, what an interesting little flower there. It's very tall, huh? The national flower of Greece is the bear's breech, also known as Acanthus mollis. This flower has a long history in Greece, and Greek artists carved the leaves on top of their Corinthian columns in the 5th century BCE. I just connected that halfway through the sentence. It's a Corinthian column. Look at that's incredible. That's what Corinthian columns are based on, are these flowers. That's so interesting, isn't it? In Greenland, we have the fireweed. Wow, this doesn't really look like something you'd find in Greenland. It's so bright and pretty. The national flower of Greenland is the fireweed, which belongs to the evening primrose family. It can be found in northern regions of the northern hemisphere. In Guam, we have Putinai nubiu. That's a really gorgeous, bright, reddy, pinky color, huh? Oh, in Guam, the national flower is Putinai nubiu, also known as bougainvillea. That's where I've seen that before. People also refer to it as the paper flowers, as it produces lots of colors such as red, pink, purple, orange, and white. Oh, wow. Guatemala, we have the white nun orchid, which looks very aptly named. It's like it's got a big, I guess, habit. I'm not sure what it's described as. The national flower of Guatemala is the white nun orchid. It is a rare flower in the Verapaz district in Guatemala and symbolizes peace, art, and beauty. It was named the national flower in 1934 by General Jorge I. Is that what that's meant to say? I'm not sure. It's a pretty flower, though. In Guyana, they have the Victoria regia. Oh, that's sweet. I like that. If you know your Latin, you already know what it's meant to symbolize. The Victoria regia water lily is Guyana's national flower and was discovered by German botanist Robert Schomburg in 1837. It's also represented on the Guyana coat of arms. Of course, in Holland, which is part of the Netherlands, we have the tulip, which is like one of the most iconic flowers of Europe, right? The national flower of Holland / the Netherlands is the tulip. However, the tulip is admired worldwide and is often found in bouquets for home vases. In Honduras, we have a sweet little orchid, and this is the kind of orchid I picture when I think of the word orchid, and I have to visualize when it looks a lot like this. The national flower of Honduras is the orchid. The orchid replaced the rose as the official national flower in 1969. In Hong Kong, we have the orchid Bauhinia. Ooh, that's a beautiful purple. Oh, that's so lovely. Orchid Bauhinia is the national flower of Hong Kong. This flower is also featured on the regional flag of... Oh, that's what that is. On the flag of Hong Kong, they have this big flower in the middle. Oh, I get it. Learning so much about the world's international flowers. In Hungary, we have the tulip. That's a really beautiful one. The national flower of Hungary is the tulip. It was brought to Hungary from Turkey and became very popular. The tulip in Hungary symbolizes different things depending on the color and variations, just like a lot of flowers. In Iceland, we have the mountain avens, which is very sweet. There's just something about little white flowers with yellow centers, isn't it? Something about it. Mountain avens is the national flower of Iceland. It can be found all over Iceland, but they mainly grow on gravelly mountain slopes and moorland. Perfect for Iceland. In India, of course, is the lotus. So beautiful. The national flower of India is the lotus. It is a sacred flower and goes back to ancient Indian mythology. It's another one of those kind of like, In Egypt, this is like the India version. Anyway, moving on. Indonesia, we have the melati or jasmine, the moon orchid, and rafflesia. That looks like jasmine for sure. The national flower of Indonesia is the melati putih. There wasn't a national flower in Indonesia for a long time, and they didn't have one until June of 1990. In fact, they have three: moon orchid, melati, which is the jasmine, and rafflesia, which, if you know rafflesia, it's the world's largest flower, and it smells like rotting meat. In Iran, we have the red rose, specifically red roses. The national flower of Iran is the red rose. The tulip is also the flower emblem of Iran. Iraq also has red rose as their national flower. The national flower of Iraq is the red rose. There isn't a known reason why the rose was chosen as the national flower, but some believe that it is due to it being common during the Persian Empire. Both Iraq and Iran chose the red rose as their national flower, and both used to be part of Persia. Makes sense. In Ireland, of course, there's the shamrock. Iconic, right? It may come as no surprise that the national flower of Ireland is the shamrock. The flower is related to the tale of St. Patrick and how he used the three-leaf shamrock to explain the Trinity. His followers then started wearing a shamrock on his feast day. I found a four-leaf clover when I was little. We were out at school. It was St. Patrick's Day. Our field area was full of clovers, and I swear, it had one tiny little deformed leaf hanging between it. And I picked it and I showed my teacher. I was like, look, this is a four-leaf clover, like, for reals. And my teacher was like, no, it's not. And she threw it away. And I was like, no, it was, though. It had a fourth leaf, I swear. Anyway, in Italy, we have the lily, just a classic little lily. Italy's national flower is the lily. However, the traditional symbolic flower for Italy is the rose. Italians considered white poppy and white lilies to be a religious symbolic flower. Like I said, there's just something so attractive about white petals and yellow center. It's very sweet. In Jamaica, we have Lignum vitae. So pretty. Lignum vitae is indigenous to Jamaica and was found by Christopher Columbus. Interesting. In Japan, there's the cherry blossom and Chrysanthemum morifolium. Of course, there's the iconic cherry blossoms. Oh, there is no official designated national flower in Japan. However, some believe the cherry blossom represents Japan because it is in many traditional shrines and temples. The chrysanthemum represents Japan because it is flower of the Japanese royal family, the imperial family. That's a weird phrase, but yeah. Chrysanthemums has always represented the emperor for like thousands of years. It's interesting they don't have a national flower. Jordan has the black iris. Oh my, that is beautiful. What a color, how stunning. The black iris was declared the national flower of the government of Jordan. The plant belongs to the genus Iris that was originally collected by Ernest Wilson in Sichuan in 1908. Wow, incredible. In Kazakhstan, we have the lily. That's a pretty little lily right there. The national flower of Kazakhstan is unofficially the lily. There are about 110 species of the lily family, Liliaceae. In Kuwait, we have Ranterium epiposum. It looks like a little daffodil. I wonder if it is. Ranterium epiposum, also known as arfage, became the national flower of Kuwait in 1983. This plant has served as fodder for the wren gazelle and domestic animals and was even used as a fuel source. Interesting. In Kyrgyzstan, we have the tulip. They look so pretty on the field, all colorful. The national flower of Kyrgyzstan is the tulip. Holland's often referred to as the tulip state, but the original tulip state is Kyrgyzstan. In Latvia, there's the pipeni, or daisy. So sweet. The national flower of Latvia is the pipeni, or daisy. In Latvian conditions, the wild daisy blossoms from June through September. Liberia has little pepper flowers. The national flower of Liberia is pepper. The pepper is small, white, star-shaped flowers. Did you know that pepper flowers? like the pepper on your dinner table, the plant that it comes from flowers. Isn't that neat? And it's white with yellow center. Libya, we have the pomegranate blossom, which there isn't a picture of, but we've all seen pomegranate fruit, right? The national flower of Libya is the pomegranate blossom. The pomegranate blossom not only grows as a beautiful flower, but also grows fruit as well. Lithuania, we have rue, just a very simple little rue plant. Lithuania's national flower is the rue. Traditionally, a bride will wear a crown made of rue to symbolize maidenhood. During the wedding, the crown will be burned to symbolize the loss of careless childhood and the entrance into adulthood. It sounds very traditionally Lithuanian thing to do. Luxembourg's official flower is the rose. Very lovely. The national flower of Luxembourg is the rose. It's also the national flower of England, Czech Republic, which we saw already, and Slovakia. Czech Republic and Slovakia. Madagascar, we have Poinciana. That is a bright, bright red, isn't it? The national flower of Madagascar is the Poinciana. Poinciana is a flowering plant in the bean family, Fabaceae, like where faba beans come, and subfamily Caesalpini, oh goodness, Latin, Caesalpinioideae. I'm not going to try that again. Native to Madagascar. So neat. In the Maldives, we have the pink rose. They specifically have pink roses. The national flower of the Maldives is the pink rose, also known as Finifenma. It was declared the national flower in July of 1985. In Malta, we have the Maltese Santori Paleocynus crassifolius. Just a long name for this little guy. It looks like kind of a deserty flower, but Malta is not deserty whatsoever. It's in the Mediterranean. The national flower of Malta is the Maltese Santori Paleocynus crassifolius. It's been the national plant of Malta since 1973. Looks like a little thistle or something. In New Zealand, there's cowhide. I think that's pronounced. It's another sweet little hanging flower. The unofficial national flower of New Zealand is the cowhide. The cowhide is a beautiful yellow or golden flower. Paraguay, we have the blue passion flower. My goodness, what an incredible. So this is like the back of the flower, right? You can see there's the little white petals. And then behind it you have this incredible, oh, that's lovely. The blue passion flower is the national flower of Paraguay. In Paraguay, it's known as Mburucuya in Guarani. It was chosen as the national flower because of its unique beauty and can be found in forests and the walls along Paraguay houses. It's so gorgeous. In Peru, we have Cantuta, another sweet little hanging one. Let's see, the national flower of Peru is the Cantuta. It's considered a ceremonial flower. Whenever the Inca participated in a ritual or ceremony, their path was adorned with these flowers like a carpet as a sign of respect. That's neat. And the Inca had so many cool little traditions. That's a neat one. In the Philippines, we have Sampaguita. It's really sweet. The national flower of the Philippines is the Sampaguita. I'm not sure. The Philippines also have a national flower called the Anaha. In Poland, we have the corn poppy. Beautiful fields. In California, our state flower is the golden poppy, and it looks just like this, but it's bright orange. The national flower of Poland is the corn poppy or red poppy. During and after World War I, fields disturbed by battle ended up blooming corn poppies, and it's since become a symbol of that war. Yeah, that's like an iconic fact of World War I. Portugal's national flower is lavender. Who doesn't love lavender? Lavender is the national flower of Portugal, and the genus has about 25 to 30 species of flowering plants in the mint family. Lavender is also known for its calming effect and can be found in various items such as candles, perfumes, essential oils, and literally everything else at this point. Everyone loves lavender. Puerto Rico has the Flor de Maga. It's a big bright one. The national flower of Puerto Rico is the Flor de Maga, also known as the Puerto Rican hibiscus. The maga is related to the hibiscus but differs from the maga's saucer-sized flower. It grows on a large tree. It's native to Puerto Rico, and it's grown in tropical climates. Oh, it grows on a tree, apparently. Romania has the dog rose. It's Really sweet. I like the fade to pink there in the petals. The national flower of Romania is the dog rose. The dog rose can be self-supporting or climbing flowers. Oh, interesting. Russia has chamomile. Do you say chamomile or chamomile? It's kind of interchangeable where I live. I wonder how you say it where you live. But another really sweet white flower, the yellow center. It's so precious. The national flower of Russia is the chamomile. Chamomile and chamomile is the member of the daisy family. It has a fruity floral fragrance, doesn't it? One of my favorite kinds of teas. San Marino has the cyclamen. It looks kind of like the Edelweiss flowers, but with lipstick on, right? Bright pink. The cyclamen's the national flower of San Marino. The scientific name of the flower is also cyclamen. It has scented flowers and will bring beauty to your home and garden. It's also used in herbal medicine. In Scotland, of course, we have the thistle. Yeah. The national flower of Scotland is the thistle and has been an important symbol of the country for over 500 years. James III founded it in 1967. Okay, and it also represents one of the highest honors the country can give to an individual. James III founded it in 1967. Maybe that means 1667, because I know James I was crowned King of England in 1603, right? Anyway, moving on. Seychelles, we have the tropic bird orchid. Oh, it's so sweet. The national flower of the Seychelles is the tropic bird orchid. This flower is featured on the wedding veil of Meghan Markle. Oh, the national flower can also be seen on the planes of the national airline, Air Seychelles. How neat. Oh, that's true because she had flowers from every, Commonwealth country on her wedding veil. In Singapore, we have Papilionanthe Miss Joaquim. Wow. That's a sassy lady right there. The Papilionanthe Miss Joaquim is the national flower of Singapore. It was chosen to represent Singapore's uniqueness and hybrid culture in April of 1981. What a strange one. It's really cool. Slovakia, of course, has the rose. The national flower of Slovakia is the rose. The rose is recognized as a symbol of love, beauty, war, and politics. It first appeared in Slovakia over 35 million years ago. If you don't know your recent geopolitical history, the Czech Republic and Slovakia used to be the same country, so they have the same national flower still. Spain has the red carnation, which I don't think I've ever seen red carnations before. That's really beautiful. The national flower of Spain is the red carnation. They're often given as presents, and each color has a different meaning. The red carnations used to adorn the windows of traditional white houses in Spain since the peasants' age. How beautiful this must look in the window of a white house. Bright red flowers, how lovely. Sri Lanka has the Nil Manel. Ooh, that's really pretty. I like the color. The national flower of Sri Lanka is the Nil Manel, or blue water lily. It was chosen as the national flower in 1986. It can be found all over Sri Lanka and grows in shallow water. In South Africa, we have the King Protea, which, wow, what a chonker. That looks gigantic. I wonder how big it really is. It looks like a cabbage in the middle there. The King Protea is the national flower of South Africa. The flower is also the flagship of the Protea Atlas project. That's run by the South African National Botanical Institute. South Korea has the Hibiscus syriacus. That's very sweet. Oh, I love that shape, right? Lovely. The Hibiscus syriacus is the national flower of South Korea. In fact, in South Korea, it's referred to as the Korean rose and is mentioned in their national anthem. Sweden has the Linnea borealis. It's so pretty. I love these little gown flowers. Look like little dresses. The unofficial national flower of Sweden is the Linnea borealis. These flowers are pink, bell-like, and grow in pairs. Oh, like little bells. I like that. Switzerland also has the Edelweiss flower. The national flower of Switzerland is the Edelweiss. The scientific name of the flower is Leontopodium, which translates to lion's paw. That's strange. That doesn't really resemble lions to me at all. That's interesting. Syria has the jasmine flower. Very, very nice. The national flower of Syria has not officially declared a national flower. Now that's a typo. Syria has not officially declared a national flower. However, publicly, Syrians consider the jasmine as their national flower. Most jasmine flowers are white, but they can also grow with yellow flowers. Oh, I've never seen a jasmine with yellow flowers. Thailand has Ratchapruk. No idea, but my goodness, how dazzling. These big, bright blooms hanging down. Oh, that's so, so pretty. The national flower of Thailand is the Ratchapruk. I have no idea. Any Thai followers out there, let me know. The Ratchapruk was named the national flower of Thailand in October of 2001. The name means a royal tree, and each day of the week has a different color connected to it. Oh, neat. Trinidad and Tobago has the Chaconia. Big bright red one, huh? That's pretty. Trinidad and Tobago's national flower is the Chaconia. Wild poinsettia. Oh, that's why it's so red. It's a flaming red forest flower and a member of the Rubiaceae family. The flower is named after the last Spanish governor of the country, Don Jose Maria Chacon. Turkey has the tulip, which I'm pretty sure that tulips come from Turkey originally. I'm pretty sure I remember that from when I did my Turkey video. The national flower of Turkey is the tulip. In Turkish, the word tulipa translates to tulband or turban. The flower resembles. I have never made that connection. Tulip comes from the Turkish word for turban, and it looks like a turban. Oh, all the educational things in this channel today, or in this video, I should say. Ukraine has the sunflower, which I feel like that's something that everyone's learned since, Russia began attacking it. Everyone's learned little tidbits about Ukraine, and this is one of them. The national flower of Ukraine is the sunflower. It symbolizes solar energy as well as fertility, unity, and well-being. The United States' national flower is the rose, which I had no idea. The national flower of the United States is the rose. It was declared the national flower in November of 1986, and then President Ronald Reagan signed a proclamation certifying it in a ceremony at the White House Rose Garden. Now that makes sense why there's a rose garden at the White House. I wonder if the rose garden came before the naming of the national flower or after. Or I'm not sure. I don't know when the rose garden was created. Someone let me know. Someone out there knows. Uruguay has the Cibo erythrina. Wow, that's a crazy looking. Look at it. I've never seen a flower that looks like this. Interesting. The national flower of Uruguay is the Cibo erythrina. The Cibo erythrina are bright red flowers. I've never seen that shape before. It's a really wild looking orchid. Speaking of, Venezuela is the orchid. That's a pretty pink orchid. The national flower of Venezuela is the orchid. It was first discovered in the northern land in 1849, but was declared the national flower in May of 1951. The Virgin Islands has yellow cedar. So that yellow against the blue sky of the Caribbean. The national flower of the U.S. Virgin Islands is the yellow cedar. It is sometimes referred to as the ginger Thomas. I wonder why. There's a story behind that. Yemen has Arabian coffee. Did you know that? Coffee flowers, too. And they kind of look like jasmine flowers. This looks a lot like jasmine. Arabian coffee flower is the national flower of Yemen. The Arabica coffee was first domesticated in Ethiopia, but cultivation in Yemen was documented in the 12th century. Isn't that interesting? Yugoslavia, which does not exist anymore, had lily of the valley. The unofficial flower of Yugoslavia was the lily of the valley. It was very popular in Yugoslavia. It symbolizes purity, sweetness, and beauty. Yeah, Yugoslavia is now multiple countries. It is broken up. Anyway, Zimbabwe has the flame lily, which, wow, what a flower. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, that's so, I love this shape. Oh, that's so distinct. The national flower of Zimbabwe is the flame lily. It's a large claw-like flower that opens up to yellow and red, resembling flames. Makes sense. I like that. So that is the end for tonight. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you once again to Rose Forever. I hope that you found this video relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a very good